Travel through the psychology study guide. Why is common sense not enough? Why is introspection unreliable? Well, common sense is subjective and unreliable, while introspection is based off a person believing that they can diagnose and understand their own brain. But both common sense and introspection are both biased and based off a person's belief and aren't factual. They come from a person's own opinion, which isn't scientifically proven. What is the biopsychosocial model? What are the major specialties in psychology? Well, the model consists of the three factors psychological, biological, and social, which help establish a person's health. Under psychology, there are different jobs such as counseling, clinical, and biopsychology. Under these jobs, they use the biopsychosocial model in order to figure out cures, treatments, and medicines for patients who are dealing with mental health. Is psychology a science? What is behavior and how does the brain and behavior connect? Well, psychology is a science. It's the study of the human mind and behavior. Since behavior is the action of a human or animal, the brain and behavior both impact the way a person's body reacts and functions. Psychology can be proven as a science since it uses the scientific method. Theorists go through the scientific method by observing first. The reason they come up with their theories is because they also question what they're researching. They come up with a hypothesis or a question and experiment on it. And then they analyze the data that they collect from the experiment and come to a conclusion, which gives them their theory. An example would be Ivan Pavlov, who came up with classical conditioning. What are some major milestones of physical development and how does emotional development proceed? Well, new physical and behavior develop at different ages. For example, at baby's age, motor skills are developing, babies are growing, enabling themselves to walk, run, and even talk. But at a teen stage, they go through puberty. A person starts off with basic emotions such as anger, sadness, joy, even disgust and fear. But as a person gets older and goes through puberty, they start to engage in having the feeling of embarrassment, anxiety, and even jealousy. How do we acquire language? How do we learn to think? Well, language is learned and adapted from people's surroundings. At a young age, such as being a toddler, we imitate and copy what we hear from adults, repeating things over and over, and even being corrected. By being corrected by people around us, it helps us improve language. Understanding is based off analyzing. By watching someone do something, babies enact it. By them following after what a person does, it enables them to learn what was just done. Language and thinking are both impacted by a person's environment. In general, how does memory work, and how can you improve your memory? Well, memories are created from different experiences. Different parts of the brain work together to form one memory, which consists of different codes, storage, and retrieval. It goes through a process. The process mostly takes place in the prefrontal cortex, which holds and manipulates information for tasks. Memories and information is stored in the prefrontal cortex and is taken and used when it is needed. In order to improve memory, you need to give information attention. Whatever a person is trying to memorize, they work on it and study it over and over again, not cramming. By cramming at a short period of time, you're not gaining any information or any ability to remember. Organizing also can impact and improve a person's memory. Instead of having jumbled up information, which can be very distorted and everywhere. How do psychologists use the term personality? Can personality be measured? Personality is the way a person thinks, acts, and feels. Behavior is the outcome of someone's personality. A person's personality is developed by the way they present themselves, the way they show themselves towards other people, and the way they represent themselves by body language. Tests are created which show different types of personality traits, such as being an introvert or extrovert or even ambivert. A popular test that is used nowadays called MBTIs show and categorize personality traits such as ENTPs, ISTJs, ENFJs, and so on. What are the general characteristics of psychotic disorders? What are the general characteristics of psychotic disorders, and what is schizophrenia and what causes it? Starting off, psychotic disorders consist of paranoia, uneasiness, unclear thoughts, and loneliness. Schizophrenia is one of the psychotic disorders. It affects the mind, causing a person to see and hear things that aren't there. In this picture is from a scene from a movie called Words on a Bathroom Wall. In this movie, there's a main character, Adam, who developed schizophrenia. He wasn't born with it. He just started having it out of nowhere. Schizophrenia can be caused from genetics, but it can also be caused by your environment. In the movie, Adam experienced disabilities through his daily life. He was unable to do tasks like he would usually do throughout the movie because of schizophrenia effect on him. He was unable to use his hands. He lost his sense of taste, and his sense of touch was disabled because of shaking that was caused from medicine that he had to take. Schizophrenia doesn't have a cure. It only has a treatment. Medicine is the treatment that schizophrenic people are given. How is stress related to health and disease? How can stress management help me in my personal and professional life? Well, stress triggers the immune system, which can make diseases occur more easier. There are different levels of diseases such as PTSD. PTSD occurs in a person's life daily, affecting their daily activities and not allowing them to do things regularly. Stress can be a positive and a negative thing. Stress can be positive because it can be encouraging and motivating, allowing a person to get things done. But stress can also be negative since it can also impact the way a person does things, allowing a person not to get things done in their life as well. What is behavior therapy? What role do apparent principles play in behavior therapy? Well, it's a therapy that modifies a person's behavior. It controls how behaviors are changed throughout the course. Apparent principles include positive and negative reinforcement, positive and negative punishment, and extinction. These principles have an end goal such as getting the client to their desired behavior. If they start off with bad behavior, they try different ways to get the client to where they need to go. How do social situations affect how we think about ourselves and others? How our attitudes acquire and change? Well, observations and interactions give people an insight on how a person may be. By a person feeling like they're being talked about, while like in the picture, they start to feel insecure and cautious of their surroundings, thinking that the world is looking at them, staring at them, and talking about them. Comparison can lead a person to think differently about themselves, leading to insecurities and feeling judged. Attitudes can be learned and come from experiences or even social norms and cultural norms. What is social influence? What have social psychologists learned about conformity? Social influence comes in when a person's behavior changes because of others' actions. Conformity comes when societal pressure is put on a person. People are influenced and fall into conformity for three reasons: informational, normative, or compliance. Informational is a positive conformity, meaning a person is following a group of people based off information that is needed, such as working conditions. Or compliance comes in when you may not agree with a person, but you still fall into the conformity just because, which can come off as a negative conformity. In the picture, you have a person not following the conformity, not following the bigger group. What factors influence interpersonal attraction, and how do interpersonal attraction and love differ? Well, to influence interpersonal attraction, it comes from becoming close with a person or how similar y'all are. Interpersonal attraction are different since love comes from desire and feeling passion towards a person. It also comes with committing into a relationship with another. Interpersonal attraction is the likeliness and feeling intimate with another person. It's only limited interest as well. It's not about desire or passion towards someone. What is prejudice and what causes it? Well, prejudice is negative feelings or thoughts towards a group or a minority or a person. Prejudice comes from having negative attitude towards minorities, such as in the picture, a girl in her school is being judged by students around her just because she looks different from the students in the hallway. She's the only one wearing a hijabi, and since they may not understand her culture or may not know much about her, they judge her and look at her in a negative way. By them doing this, it makes her nervous, makes her anxious, and feel very insecure and belittled. Having lack of knowledge about certain groups can also lead to prejudice. Or having certain stereotypes or having your upbringing have certain feelings set towards a group could also impact prejudice as well. In order to minimize prejudice, you could find a person could find mutual levels between the two groups, or find ways to work together, such as in school activities, or even finding end goals in order to work together to get to know one another. What can be done also is to gain the knowledge about minorities and other groups. By gaining the knowledge about background cultures could defeat the stereotypes about certain targeted groups, such as, for example, African Americans, hijabis, Asians, and even more. How has psychology improved education? Can psychology enhance athletic performance? Well, it helps teachers find ways to improve their classrooms and environments. By psychologists analyzing teachers' classrooms when they're teaching students, it allows them to find ways to improve the learning environment for students and enabling them to find different learning skills and styles to benefit each student even individually. Psychology can enhance athletic performance since it's based off motor skills. By psychologists finding ways that can impact specific motor skills, it can improve the performance of athletes such as track runners and even swimmers.